Welcome to the Cows and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff, DiVeronica and Steve Bradley here to talk some Section 5 swimming. And Steve, we had a matchup of the Titans of Section 5, and this has nothing to do with anybody named Arcadia or Thomas.
No, it doesn't. And two defending champions, though. Pittsford, 19 straight years in Class A, and Canandaigua in Class B. Tuesday night down at Canandaigua, and what a match, what a meet. 92-88, the slimmest of margins, and it turned out to be the big 400 freestyle relay that did it, that won it for Canandaigua because of a big runner-up finish, and Pittsford actually won that event. But let's welcome on the two coaches of both of those squads, Rick Schmitt from Pittsford and also Dylan Scheemaker from Canandaigua. He's in his 5th year. He's actually, I'm going to tell you, he's our coach of the week, our G&G Fitness coach of the week. He's a 2008 Fairport graduate. He went to Cortland State. He swam there. He went on to coach there, and he's doing a great job continuing to build the Canandaigua program. We appreciate him taking time out of his busy schedule. And again, thanks to G&G Fitness for sponsoring our Coach of the Week award. Dylan, let's go back to the other night. You said you guys didn't expect to beat Pittsford. I mean, who could over the last 90 meets and 9 years? I guess if you had to gauge your chances, was it 50-50? What'd you think your chances were going into it?
Well, usually I'm not one to score out a meet, but I did score this meet a couple times in a couple different ways, and both times I had us losing, and that's fine. We kind of just went into it with we were going to be challenged, we were going to have some fantastic competition, and I just kept telling the guys, like, hey, let's just go have some fun. Let's go out there, let's compete, let's have fun, and whatever happens, happens. And to be honest, I didn't even check the score until after the 500 free when we were tied, and I was like, we're tied? What? I wasn't expecting that. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Rick, 90, what a streak over such a long period of time. Coaches a lot of times do things to early in the season to get better for the second half of the season. And I saw a couple of your quotes after about needing to climb back up. What was your message to your team after this meet?
It was, well, I have a young team, so this is the first time, obviously, any of these guys have gone through this. Not like it's a life-periling moment here, but in the concept of, a reality check, sometimes we take for granted what they have here and what has been put forth as tradition. So my whole thing was yesterday at practice is like, where do we go from here? The story's unwritten the rest of the year. It's up to them what they're going to do with this. And I think we're refocused in a way. Not that we weren't focused, but I think it's a reality,
Dylan, when you look at your team, what does this mean in terms of, significance of it's more than just winning a meet on Tuesday, but what does it mean for recognition in Section 5 and across the state? What's the growth potential here?
Yeah, I guess it's to be seen. Not really sure. Going into this meet, Canandaigua has always had a good, strong tradition. I took over for a coach who was very good and had multiple state athletes every single year. So my goal was just to continue that. Just to keep up the tradition, keep producing. Hopefully a powerhouse team and. A lot of our guys do a lot of other sports throughout the season, throughout the school year, which is great. So, we don't necessarily have a ton of full year-round swimmers. And I hope this just builds, swimming in the swimming community in our school, because, swimming is a great sport. And, I just hope we can keep, busting out great athletes.
We're going to talk about some of the great swimmers in this meet and talk about how close it was. Now, Rick, you do have a lot of year-round swimmers in Pittsford. That's a big part of your success. Guys that really, this is their thing. Rick, did you know all along that this thing was, you guys both talked in the story I read about how there were 4 or 5 races that were just touchouts at the wall. And that really was the difference in this meet. And Rick, I know Dylan's guys were pretty up to speed as to what had to happen in the final event to to win this thing. Were your guys aware of what they needed to do in that last event, Rick, or were you just let the thing take its own course here?
Going into the meet, I didn't play it up like I would have maybe years ago. I have a very young team, and what I would call they're not battle tested. Obviously, since I've been here, this is the first meet where it wasn't decided by the last event. So I was a little apprehensive to actually play it up too much with my young guys, that they would be like a deer in headlights type of thing in a big meet moment. So I sort of let it play out. I did tell them, listen, these guys are defending Class B champs. They're pretty good. They're going to come at you. It was about halfway through the meet that they actually realized how close it was. And the captains came to me and goes, we're in this thing, right? And I go, well, we'll see. Second half, they're coming at you. How you going to respond the rest of the way will make the difference. But going into the last relay, I told our guys, I was like, we got to go 1-2, just a tie. So they knew going in, but having been on, I say kudos to Dylan and Canandaigua. Some people forget that I used to be at Penfield years ago and took down Fairport for the first time in 35 years. So I totally get the feeling that Canandaigua and Dylan feel after this meet. It's a great feeling. It's something that his team and his boys will never forget.
Dylan, could you talk about what some of the key moments were for your team to be able to do this?
Yeah, I mean, first off, it's just the preparation. We kind of go into every meet just looking to have fun and just compete. I like to keep it light at practice. We do some crazy stuff, we do some fun stuff, and then going into the meet, it's just like, hey, let's see what happens. Let's just race every single race. Try to get the guy next to you, and if you can't, no big deal, whatever. And then during the meet, our guys were just fired up on the side, kept everybody motivated, and it was just really a whole team effort. We did it together, and some of the key touchouts. Every race was close, and we knew that going into it. And every race could have gone either way, and it was just fun. It was fun to watch as a coach. The athletes, they still talk about it. Some of them went home after the meet and watched it again on the live stream video, and it was awesome.
I see Rick nodding because he knows how that kind of enthusiasm can really carry a current, no pun intended, through the whole team. And before we're gonna take a break in a minute, but before we do that, I want before we let Coach go, Coach Scheemaker go, I want to talk about that last relay because Jack Chapman, Vincent Chen, Julian Oliveri, and Dominic Falbo came up huge. And I know Jared Bjorling, he was our Bob Johnson Auto Athlete of the Week, actually. We announced it earlier in the show. But those guys knew that they had to finish second. If they didn't finish second, you guys didn't win this thing. What can you say about their performance, Coach?
Oh, man. Those guys, they just love racing. They love competing. And I trust them. I trust them with everything. If I say something, I know they're just going to do it. And my message to them before the race, I'm just like, hey guys, if we get third, we tie, and that's great. Awesome. Tying Pittsford would be amazing. But if we get second, that's amazing. I couldn't even ever imagine that. And then we would win the meet, but I just told them safe starts, go out there, race. And Jared's, he's got a hurt shoulder right now, so he hasn't really been swimming too much. And he just absolutely went crazy on that relay, which I was not expecting.
Well, the 200 free relay also came up big, and the medley relay was great. Your relays really answered the bell. Let's take a quick break. Coach, we're going to let you get back to doing what you do best. Coach Scheemaker, our G&G Fitness Coach of the Week. Go back to coaching. We appreciate you checking in with us. We'll take a quick break and talk more Pittsford swimming on the other side. Thanks, Coach Scheemaker. Congratulations to you and the Braves.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You're watching the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
I'm a biomedical sciences major. My goal is to one day open up my own pediatric office. I want to create an environment almost similar to the environment that Roberts creates for me. I want them to walk into the doctor's office and feel love. When I got here, I was just like, yeah, this is home. This is where I need to be. Be prepared for an adventure, be prepared for a journey, and enjoy the journey.
Have you recently bought a home, or have you been in your home for 5 years or more? Have you looked at your ductwork?
If not properly cleaned, air ducts can become contaminated with dust, pollen, or even mold. This can impact the air that you're breathing.
Check us out online and schedule your appointment today.
Why do you exercise? To look better? To feel better? To drop a few pounds? To train for an event? To defy age? Or to keep your ability to say yes to the things you love to do? Whatever motivates you, G&G Fitness Equipment is here to get you there. Treadmills, ellipticals, rowers, bikes, home gyms, and accessories. We'll pair you with the right equipment, teach you how to use it, and be there every step of your fitness journey. G&G Fitness. Your goal is our goal.
Sweet baby, oh baby,
There's a path to success full of challenges, rewards, inspiration, and strength. A strength that only the U.S. Army Reserve can give you. The skills and experiences you'll get will give you an advantage in your civilian life. Stay close to home, train to develop your strengths, and get on a path to success. Find out more at goarmy.com/reserve.
For more information, contact Syracuse Army Recruiting Center, 315-449-2830. There's strong. Then there's Army Strong, paid for by the U.S. Army.
Welcome back to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff DiVeronica and Steve Bradley still talking some Section 5 swimming, and the king of the hill, Pittsford, has been knocked off to a degree. Their 90-match meet win streak since all the way back to 2012 was snapped by Canandaigua, but this is a young, we're joined by our coach Rick Schmitt. Rick, young squad, the youngest probably in Pittsford history. 21 of your 29 swimmers are underclassmen, and that bodes well for the future. What does that mean for the present? What do you hope these guys take away from this moment?
Experience. And, you know, nothing beats that than competition. So the young guys, the JV guys, all got to see that meet firsthand. When we went through this in 2012 and lost to Fairport 94-92, 6 weeks later, we came back and won sectional title from that team. So, and then we went on another run, and hopefully the young guys will take this all in, learn from it, and work on things and use it as motivation for the future.
Rick, we've had you on the program many times over the past several years, and we appreciate all you've done as an ambassador for the sport. I asked you this in a text message. You've always been great, no matter whether it was your team or not. When you coached for Penfield, you still wanted everyone else to get publicity, and no matter where you coached. Your love of swimming, when did it start? I guess, why did it start, do you think?
Well, I can tell you why it started. So my parents were looking, obviously, to get me into sports as a youth at the age of 6, 7. They took me to the first hockey practice, and the coach said, "Oh yeah, he's going to make the team. That'll be like $1,000." And we're talking like 1976. So at the time, my parents were like, $1,000? There's no way. So talking to neighbors, they were like, "Oh, my son just joined the swim team." So that next week, they took me up to the pool, put me in the pool. They were like, "You're on the swim team. You made the swim club. How much is that going to be?" "Oh, it's $150 and it includes your swimsuit." I'll say from there is history. Got the love of it. Swam, in the winters, did some soccer, made the full commitment for my freshman year, swimming year round, and then went right through college. And once you stay in it that long, it's in your blood.
Where did you swim in high school?
I graduated from Webster High School.
That's right.
That's right. And Rick, as Jeff mentioned, we've gotten to know you pretty well over the years. You're a big sports fan beyond swimming, and I was trying to come up with an analogy. I mean, you've almost been like the UConn women's basketball of Section 5, and you see the big picture and everything. just about the streak, did the streak ever take on a personality of its own, or were the swimmers over the years able to keep it one that mindset of one day at a time, one lap at a time, whatever it takes? Or I guess in a roundabout way, I'm asking if the streak going away might help move things forward.
I would say the streak sort of crept up on at least me about 2 or 3 years ago. I didn't realize where we were at, and we're getting close to the streak of '94, which was the Pittsford team before us, before the streak started. And then I believe Fairport had the streak in the 80s and 90s at like 106, 107. So that's the longest win streaks in county history. But the boys, we look at the bigger picture, and in sectionals and states has always been the main goal. So not to downplay our meets or our dual meets, but those are our glamorized practice sessions. We're seeing where we're at, our benchmarks. Okay, we're training, dual meet times, competition, but really the end goal has always been and always will be sectionals, and that's really the streak that means the most to the boys right now.
Well, we appreciate your time today. We're going to let you run along, and we're going to bring out one of your swimmers. He's a fifth-year guy, one of the keys to your program. And there have been so many, Steve, over the years, so many veteran guys. And this is one of the leaders now of a young group. His name is Aiden Braun. He's a 100 and 200 freestyle guy.
We owe it to everybody to say Coach Schmitt is the first one that told us that the streak was over and the Canandaigua has won. And
well, I wanted to get him on the show and some Pittsford guys. He texted me at night to me. He goes, "You're gonna want to get Canandaigua on with me," and we said, "Okay, absolutely, let's do it." Let's bring on Aiden Braun, Steve Bradley, and one of the senior leaders for Pittsford. Hi, Aiden. Thanks for being on the show.
Hi. Good to be here.
How's it been for you, Aiden, the last 48 hours? What's it been like? Because in your experience on the team, that's the only dual loss you've had to experience. Has it been a time of growth?
Yeah, I'd say so, definitely. To be honest, I didn't really think about it much until, going to bed that night. Thought about it a little bit, and then at practice the next day. But, Wednesday, the day after, kind of just normal school. And that was kind of the message we wanted to send as captains. And I know Coach wanted to send was that you move on, learn from it, grow from it, work harder in practice, and just focus on the bigger things ahead. Like we have Shen this weekend and sectionals coming up. And, of course, our rivalry meet against Fairport. So not dwelling on it too much has kind of been my goal, and just moving on and learning from it the most.
When you came up as an eighth grader, who were some of the leaders you looked up to? And I guess, what did you learn from watching how they did their business?
Well, when I was in eighth grade, the captains that stood out the most to me were Ben Beldner, who I think he's currently a captain on Binghamton's swim team, and Sam Roche. And both of them hold many records here. Pool and team records. And they really just introduced me to the culture of dedication and commitment, and seeing that not just in eighth grade, but ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade. As I got closer with the seniors, because they were closer in age, I really started to become that kind of person, so that I would be ready to be that type of mentor to the new kids that Sam Roche and Ben Beldner were to me in eighth grade.
What's it like just to be a part of that great tradition as a swimmer when you're coming up? You mentioned the ones that you looked up to. Now you're the one that's being looked up to. How's that whole full circle thing worked for you?
It's definitely pretty daunting, but I've kind of embraced it, and so have the other captains, especially just kind of growing and learning the last 4 years on the team. And I've really just tried to emphasize the tradition that I know, and the culture of Pittsford that I know, which is hard work and practice, dedication to yourself, your team, and just kind of fulfilling the Pittsford tradition, which is all of these titles and records and all that kind of thing. And just kind of upholding that standard so that 5 years from now, we still have it.
We think alike, young Aiden. I was looking at those banners over your shoulder, and I'm thinking, if you duck just a little bit, folks, Aiden, duck just a little bit. New York State. This is one of the preeminent programs in New York State. You're good. You can lean up now. Because it's not just Section 5 with Pittsford Swimming. They've set a standard that all of New York State takes a look at. And you've been a big part of that, Aiden. We appreciate you coming on our program. Wish you and the Panthers the best of luck. I know you're going to bounce back, and now you're going to start a new streak that hopefully 9 or 10 years from now, you'll still be talking about, that you were there when it started. So thank you, Aiden Braun, for being on our show.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Aiden Braun and Rich Schmitt, and of course, Dylan Scheemaker, our G&G Fitness Coach of the Week. Great swimming segment, Steve.
It was, and you know, congratulations to Canandaigua. You know, I would call that a stunner, and you know,
I couldn't believe the text when I got it.
Right, and you know, in some ways, it's getting attention for swimming, so it's good, and I can't really emphasize enough the grace that the Pittsford program and Coach Schmitt have handled it with. Letting us know right away, the kind posts and congratulatory things. And, you know, you're right. They'll move forward. I was looking over Aiden's shoulder. Looked like there was one more spot on that banner for a 2021-2022. And nobody would be surprised if that line is filled come March.
Yeah, nice round number, 20 in a row for Pittsford. We're pretty sure they're going to get that one in Class A. You never know. That's the way we love sports. For Steve Bradley and our producer, Joe, I want to tell you about our friends, Bath Fitter. These guys might need some new bathrooms in their house. We're going to have to talk about that, guys. Holidays are coming up fast. Use some of the money you get for Christmas and when the tax season comes to hit up our friends from Bath Fitter. Check out their website. They're one of the #1 operations in the country for the volume they do in the Rochester area. It's because they do great work. So please tell them that we sent you right here from the Congressman Ferris High School Sports Show. Steve Bradley, have yourself a happy holiday. Joe Bratt, you do the same, my friend. And all you out there interviewing audience, have yourself a happy holiday. Thanks for watching us right here on the Congressman Ferris High School Sports Show.